What is your name, please?
My name is Rollin, Rochelle.
What is your name, please?
My name is Rollin, Rochelle.
What is your name, please?
My name is Rollin, Rochelle.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one of them is the real Rollin Rochelle and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. And here is our host, Bud Collier.
Thank you and good evening. This, as I'm sure you know by now, is a game of deliberate misrepresentation, wherein four presumably smart people try to find out which one of three challengers has sworn to tell the truth. To Tell the Truth is brought to you each Tuesday night by Geritol, America's #1 tonic, the high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast. Right now, let's meet our cross-examiner, shall we? What is your name, please?
My name is Polly Bergen.
My name is Abe Burrows.
My name is Betty Furness.
My name is Gardner.
And I can attest that these people are telling nothing but the truth. Now, these three people all claim to be Rollin Rochelle. Only one is the real Rollin Rochelle. The other two have assumed that identity, and of course they do not have to stick to the truth. Now, panel, in front of you there is a copy of an affidavit. Would you please listen while I read it? I, Rollin Rochelle, have always worked with my hands. I have made watch crystals, I've worked as a puppeteer, I have been a skilled magician. Now I am so adept with my hands that I earn my living as a pickpocket. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Rollin Rochelle. And on with the game in just time now to play our game. So, panel, these three people all claim to be Rollin Rochelle, who earns his living as a pickpocket. Remember, only the real Rollin Rochelle is required to answer your questions truthfully. You will each question until you hear this signal. At the end of 4 minutes, you will be asked to mark your ballot for the one person who, in your opinion, is the real Rollin Rochelle. And let's begin this evening's questioning with Polly Bergen.
Number one, what kind of a pickpocket are you?
A good one.
Well, I mean, where do you pickpocket?
Well, in large crowds.
I see. Number two, what kind of a pickpocket are you?
An honest pickpocket.
An honest Number three, what kind of pickpocket are you?
I work all the clothes, all over.
I beg your pardon?
I work the fob, breech, everything, every part.
Well, I mean, are you really a thief?
Well, not exactly. Pickpockets never consider themselves thieves. They're professional people.
Oh!
On to Abe Burrows. Abe?
Number one, do you know the term jostling?
Yes, sir.
You know what it means?
Yes, it means to... Yes, I do know what it means.
What does it mean in connection with picking pockets?
It means to get into a crowd and get next to someone with something on them and relieve them of it.
What does the term jostling itself mean?
Well, jostling, I imagine it's an Anglo-Saxon word.
Do you know what a club date is?
Yes.
What is
Which
it?
kind? Up in the Concord or Grossinger's or in one of the Elks clubs, or what would you have?
Do you know who's the editor of Variety?
Yes.
What's his name?
Abe.
Number three, did you ever hear of Gally Gally?
Gally. I've heard of him, yes.
You know what he is?
I don't know what in connection, though. Connection of it.
Number two.
Sorry, Abe. Betty Furness.
Number two, your affidavit says that you made watch crystals. When a watch is called a 17-jewel watch, what are the precious stones that are those 17 jewels?
I'm not sure, but I believe they are jewels, diamonds.
Number one, can you answer that question?
Either rubies or synthetic rubies.
Number three, can you answer that?
I'd say the same as number one. Rubies
No.
and synthetic.
Hi, Gardner.
Number three, in your profession, what is the most difficult thing for a pickpocket to swipe?
Well, one of the most difficult things for him to take would be the shirt off a man when he has his coat on.
Can it be done?
Yes, it can be done.
It can be done.
Oh, yes.
I'm glad I'm wearing two shirts tonight. Number one, who was a fellow named Dominique?
He's a professional. He's in the business.
Professional
He's not
what?
as big as I am. There are some as big as me. But I would say he's about as big as, well, I think this lad in the middle.
I don't mean in size, I mean in stature. He is a performer, not a pickpocket, actually. He gets booked by William Morris or MCA, is that right?
That's right.
Time now for just one final question from each of you. And, Polly, how about your final question?
Number 2, are you a pickpocket in show business or a legitimate pickpocket?
In show business.
Number 2. Guy generally knows what his name is about. Can you tell me what the name Rochelle is famous for, originally?
No, I can't. I'm
Betty?
sorry.
Number 2, there is a magician who is famous for a trick where he makes both a bird and cage disappear. Who is that magician?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Hi.
Number 3, which in the underworld is considered a higher type of artist? A safecracker or a pickpocket?
It depends upon whom you ask. If you ask a safecracker, he might say that a good safecracker would be. Pickpocket would say that his profession would be. It's difficult to say.
A lot of ego, in other words.
That's right, it's ego.
All right, it's time now to vote.
Are
Panel,
you sure one of these is real?
Without consultation, mark your ballots and select, if you will, either number 1, number 2, or number 3. May I have your ballots, please? Now, as you know, the team of challengers will get $250 for every incorrect vote, which means, of course, that if they fool our entire panel, there is a total of $1,000 for them to divide. Now, this is Polly Bergen's ballot. She votes for number 2. Abe Burrows selected number 2. Betty Furness picked number 1. And High Gardner votes for number 2. All right, votes are in. Panel have made up their minds. I hope you folks at home have made up yours. Now, let's find out which of these men earns his living, I should say, as a pickpocket. Will the real Rollin Rochelle please stand up? Thank you very much, sir. Now, number 1, let's find out who you really are and what you do.
My name is John Matthew Canella. I'm a justice of the Court of Special Sessions, acting in General Sessions at the present time.
And number 3, how about you, sir?
I'm Robert Marsh. I'm a lieutenant in the New York City Police Department.
Yes, sir. Rollin, what do you want to say?
Bud, I don't want to leave the stage without returning these to the judge. Here's your glasses. And Lieutenant Marsh, here's your wristwatch.
I don't know if it's a good idea to flank you like that or not tonight, gentlemen. Let's see how well you did. Now, you didn't pick our pockets too well. Let's see, there was only one incorrect vote for $250 from Geritol for you to divide. But our team of challengers, I think, has had a good time. We've had a pleasant evening having you here. Good night, gentlemen, and the best of good luck to you. All right. Now, may we have our next challengers, please?
What is your name, please?
My name is Wewan, Warrowan.
What is your name, please?
My name is Wewan, Warrowan.
What is your name, please?
My name is Wewan, Warrowan.
Now, panel, will you follow along while I read you this affidavit? I, Wewan Warrowan, was born in Siam. My great-grandfather was the king portrayed by Yul Brynner in The King and I. and I am related to the present king of Siam, which is now known as Thailand. Since coming to this country, I have worked as a guide at the United Nations, and I am now a secretary for the President of the United Nations General Assembly, who also happens to be my father. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Wewan, Warrowan. Get along now to our next little problem here, panel. It's time to play the game, and these three people all claim to be Princess Wewan Warrowan, whose father is President of the United Nations General Assembly, and who is related to the King of Siam. Remember, only the real Princess Wewan Warrowan is required to answer your questions truthfully. Again, you'll question until you hear the signal, and after 4 minutes, you'll be asked to cast your ballot for which one you think is the right one. We'll start this time with our new guest this evening, Abe.
Number 3, what was the name of your great-grandfather's oldest son?
Well, my great-grandfather's name was Prince Mongkok, and his eldest son's name was Prajadiko.
What is the country directly west of Siam?
The country directly west of Siam is Burma.
And the premier of that country?
I beg your
Who is
pardon?
the premier of that country?
The premier of Burma is Unu, Mr. Unu.
Number 1, how long have Siamese cats been domesticated?
Oh, for quite some time in this country, I understand.
How long in Siam?
Oh, I don't rightly know.
Ready, Furness.
Number 2, who wrote the original book, Anna and the King of Siam?
Margaret Landon, I believe.
Do you know in what year she wrote it?
I think in 1947, 48, around there.
Hi, Gardner.
Number 3, I want to hear you say something in your native tongue, like, I root for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
私はブルックリンドジャースが大好きです。
And number 2, let me hear you say, I root for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
ฉันเชียร์ Brooklyn Dodgers.
No, that sounds right. Number 1, whom do you root for?
The Brooklyn Dodgers.
You root for the Brooklyn Dodgers, too. Number 3, what member of the royal family visited with Yul Brynner backstage about 3 years ago?
I believe it was the present king, Ramadan IX. Or
I say, number 2, who visited backstage at The King and I with Yul Brynner about 3 years ago?
I really don't know this answer, but I believe it was a prince from Thailand.
And what was it?
Sorry, hi, Polly.
Number 1, did your great-grandfather look anything like Yul Brynner?
No, I would say not, and he certainly didn't act too much like the way Yul Brynner did in the movie.
Oh, I see. Number 2, could you tell me, what did the initials UNRRA stand for?
Could you repeat that, please?
What did the initials UNRRA stand for? It was an organization.
I'm afraid I'll have to interrupt here because there's only time for one final answer. You can make it that if you wish when we get back to you, Polly. Abe, one final question, please.
Number 1, does it make you uncomfortable to tell a lie?
Oh, I don't think so. I think everybody tells a lie once in a while.
Ready? Final question.
Number 3, in your country, how many wives can one man have?
only one.
Hi?
Number 2, what instrument does the king play?
Saxophone and clarinet, I believe.
Polly?
Number 2, is your father a jazz musician?
No, he's not. I'm very sorry.
All right, time again to mark your ballots. No consultation, if you please. And again, as before, would you select either number 1, number 2, or number 3? And may I have the ballots, please? Polly Bergen's ballot votes for number 2. Abe Burrows selected number 1. Betty Furness picked number 3. Gardner votes for number 2. Okay, once again, the votes are in. Minds, I assume, are made up. Now let's see which of these young ladies is the daughter of the President of the United Nations General Assembly. Will the real Princess Wewan Warrowan please stand? Thank you very much. Now, about the other ladies. Number 1, would you tell us who you really are and what you do?
My name is Ku'ulei Kama'i, and I am of Chinese Hawaiian descent. I was born in Hawaii, and my profession is that of a hula dancer. I will be on Arthur Godfrey's show tomorrow night with the cast from the Hawaiian Room.
Oh.
Not in the same costume, I might add. No. Number 3, who are you really?
My name is Reiko Kase, and I come from a country with very deep traditional ties with Wewan Warrowans. It is Japan, and my father, incidentally, happens to be my country's ambassador to the United Nations.
Did you have a quick question you want to ask?
But if we have time, I'd like to see number 1 do the hula with that hat on. With that hat on.
Incidentally, I want to tell you, those headpieces are authentic Siamese
They're
headdresses.
beautiful. Aren't
Ladies,
they heavy?
I want to thank you very much for being with us tonight. There were 2 incorrect votes, which means a total of $500 to be divided among you from Geritol. Thank you very much. God bless you. Now may we have our next team of challengers, please.
What is your name, please?
My name is Thomas P. Loughran.
What is your name, please?
My name is Thomas P. Loughran.
What is your name, please?
My name is Thomas P. Loughran.
Now, panel, again, will you follow along with me as I read this affidavit? I, Thomas P. Loughran, have spent a good deal of my life in sports and games. I am considered an expert at both bridge and crossword puzzles. In my earlier days, however, I was active as a prize fighter. Among others, I have fought against Gene Tunney, Max Baer, Mickey Walker, and Jimmy Braddock. And before joining the heavyweight ranks, I was the undefeated light heavyweight champion of the world. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Thomas P. Loughran. And we'll start our cross-examination in just... Right, these 3 people all claim to be Tommy Loughran, former light heavyweight champion of the world. We'll start this questioning with Gardner. Hi?
Well, number 1, who was the toy bulldog?
Mickey Walker.
And what fighter, heavyweight, did 2-ton Tony Galento hit so hard that he sent him right to the hospital?
I think it was Lou Nova.
Yeah, number 2, what heavyweight champ was known as the Cinderella Man?
Jack Dempsey.
Number 3, what is used between rounds to stop a bleeding cut?
Medicated Vaseline.
Number 3, let me ask this question. Name 2 ex-boxers who have never run restaurants.
I'm one. And Tony Zale.
Holly Bergen.
Number 2, you were the world's light heavyweight champion. Could you tell me what is the next lowest in weight?
The next lowest is a middleweight.
Middleweight. What's after that? Under that?
Welterweight.
And lower than that?
Lightweight.
Under that?
Lightweight.
Under that?
A feather.
Under that?
Fly.
Under that?
Fly.
Oh,
I'm never been interested in the lightweight.
I was doing so well, I thought I'd just keep going. You know. Number 1, what is the bonus for a doubled contract, for making a doubled contract?
Double the amount that you bid for.
I beg your pardon?
Double the amount that you contracted for.
Is the bonus for
Yes.
For making a double?
Abe Burrows.
Number 3, what's a 5-foot ant-eating African animal? If I say not 5 feet, I mean it's about 5 foot long.
New.
Number 1. What's a three-toed sloth?
I beg your pardon?
A word for a three-toed sloth.
I could give you some good ones, but not in public.
Ready, Furness.
Number 2, in bridge, what is finesse?
Well, a finesse is the same approach in boxing. That's why I took up bridge. It's sneaking a punch or sneaking a play in.
Number 3, what is duplicate bridge?
That's when your partner doesn't have the cards that you hope he has. And, well, I'm afraid I'll have to break in here because we have just time now for one final question from each. Hi, Gardner. What's the final question?
Well, number 1, can you name the current New York State boxing commissioner, his predecessor, and his predecessor?
No, you're asking something.
I'm afraid we can't take the time for that long an answer. Hi, please forgive me. Polly, one final one.
Number 1, what is the latest system in counting points in bridge? Who has the best-selling book on it?
I think Charles H. Gorin.
Thank you.
Abe?
Number 2, which fighter that you ever fought is also a painter, an artist?
Well, what type of an artist are you referring to?
Makes pictures.
He paints pictures?
Oils.
Well, that's Mickey Walker. He's been quite an artist.
That'll do. Betty?
Number 1, who is recognized as the best living bridge player?
Who is recognized as the best? I have heard, but I can't think of the name.
All right, time to vote, panel. Please mark your ballots with no consultation for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. May I have the ballots, please? All right, Polly Bergen's ballot. She votes for number 1. Why, Polly?
Well, because he's the only gentleman that has cauliflower ears.
Abe Burrows selected number 1. Why, Abe?
Because number 3 didn't know what an aardvark was.
Betty Furness
Well,
figured it was number 1. Betty, why in your case?
I think he looks like a fighter, and number 3 gave me a very wrong answer, and number 2 looks like he ought to look like a fighter.
Hi, Gardner's vote was for number 1. Unanimous choice. Hi, why in your case?
Well, he looks in good shape, and he knew it was Lou Nova who was sent to the hospital by Galento, and he also looks familiar.
All right, there we are now. The ballots are in. I hope that you voted at home, made up your minds. Let's see how well everybody did. Will the real former light heavyweight champion of the world, Tommy Loughran, please stand? And now, just briefly, number 2, who are you really, sir?
I'm Joe King, the owner of the famous German-American Rathskeller.
Welcome to our show. And how about you, number 3?
I'm Ken Strong, salesman for Mason Burrows, former football player.
Well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen, and you did yourselves proud. You had 100% there. But I must say we never let anybody go away empty-handed, so there will be $150 for you gentlemen to divide. From Geritol, we thank you very much for being with us tonight. Good night, good luck, and God bless. Well, I wasn't too sure myself there, panel, believe me, although I remembered seeing Tommy Loughran many years ago. I hate to admit it, but I do remember seeing it. All right, I guess that's about it, panel. Our time is all gone, unfortunately. We just have time to say good night. So good night, panel.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, and good night to you all. Until next week, let me remind you that our guest panelist will be Ralph Bellamy next week. And right now, this is Bud Collier reminding you to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
Travel arrangements for To Tell the Truth are made through American Airlines. American Airlines flies our contestants in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flagship. To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Cogman production. in association with the CBS television network.